Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session designed to help someone with chronic pain, except that chronic pain wasn't linked to a physical ailment. It was a sensation that may have happened in the past, but was linked possibly to the menopause. So this sensation of almost like a feeling of a burning mouth, often found in women of menopausal age. But the protocol used in this particular session is a protocol called the Old Pain to Go, created by a therapist called Stephen Blake. And in a way, it's a form of parts negotiation, eliciting a positive intention, and then agreeing some kind of negotiated outcome to release the pain now that it served the purpose that it was originally designed to do. So if you're listening to this, it may be that you can't really relate to the feeling of a burning sensation in your mouth, but it might be that you've got some kind of pain that feels like it's an echo of the past. So maybe you had a genuine injury, maybe a decade ago, maybe a few years ago, or even a few months ago. And there's still the sensation of pain, even though it's highly likely that the body has healed sufficiently in that area, and yet the pain remains. And quite often the function of pain is to protect. So if you imagine a body part that has been injured, I go to the gym a lot, and sometimes I will lift weights that are too heavy. That might pull a muscle, and then I tend to stay away from exercising that muscle for a while. So the function of pain there is to protect, to enable that body part to heal sufficiently, or it's a tool to kind of seek additional help. So if you've got some kind of health issue that's undiagnosed and it means that you get it checked out, then that's quite useful. But outside of that, psychosomatic pain quite often is a form of communication from the unconscious to the conscious to try and have a need met. And if you can meet that need in an alternative way, then actually you no longer need the pain. It's served its function, it's achieved its mission. So if you're listening to this and you have pain, hopefully this session will help. But of course, it was created for someone with a very specific type of pain. So if the idea of hypnotherapy to help with your pain appeals to you, there will be a link in the show notes that you can schedule a free consultation call with me. But you never know, this session that's free and recorded may be of benefit to you. In which case, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. I want you to imagine that as you breathe in, because you're choosing to breathe in slower, you're breathing more of that resourceful relaxation. Most people, when they breathe in, tend to breathe in a very slow way, a shallow way. But I want you to imagine that because you're choosing to breathe in deeper and more deliberate, you're noticing where tension is in your body. The clues is a muscle that is perhaps flexed when it could be relaxed. Some people have muscles that are tense that they don't even realize they're tense because they're just permanently tense. For sometimes that's a muscle in the neck. And sometimes that's a muscle in the jaw. There are tiny muscles in your shoulder blades, in your fingers. And I wonder if you were to scan your body, where you might find that feeling of tension that is just an echo of a time when it was useful but it's not needed here. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a healing white light. Imagine that being as bright as those moments where you've temporarily looked at the sun just for a second. And I want you to imagine that healing bright white light as a force of energy that you can breathe in through your nose and feel the healing properties of that white light going in through your nose, down into your lungs. And I want you to accept the suggestion that in the same way that your heart can distribute oxygen to every cell in your body and intuitively knows the carbon dioxide is waste and that just leaves your body in your outward breath without you even thinking about it. As you breathe in that glowing, healing white light, imagine that your heart can take that healing properties of that healing white light and distribute that to every cell of your body. And what if stress and tension inadvertently was leading to excess tension, and that excess tension was leading to your body feeling like it's in a dangerous situation. And this can happen more than you'd think. When people are in war zones, they don't sleep very well. They're in a constant state of vigilance and stress. And their body starts doing things as a warning system. And sometimes that's a rash, and sometimes that's a twitch, and sometimes that's the feeling of a sensation of pain, even if the pain isn't real, because it has the positive intention of either survival, protection, or a signpost to move away from one thing and to do something else. So as you breathe in that intense feeling of healing white light, I want you to notice something interesting. That on your outward breath, you can see a darker, grayish, shadowy color leaving your outward breath, representing any tension, any stress, but also anything that is no longer serving you. Continue to breathe in that bright healing white light and continue to see that dull grey colour leaving your body as you accept the suggestion that this is a powerful feeling of resourcefulness, And I'm going to direct your attention to different parts of your body. And I want you to imagine that you are healing that part of your body, but also releasing any tension in that specific part of your body. Breathing in that healing white light, I want you to focus on the muscles in your forehead. Those same muscles responsible for expressions like surprise or concern are not needed here. So just feel that you can let go of that feeling of tension and feel that tension leave your body in your outward breath. Taking another deep breath of that healing white light, and this time pay attention to the tiny muscles around your eyes, your eyebrows, eyelids, the tiny muscles just around your eyes. Many people that work in front of a screen tend to have tension around these muscles, and they're not needed here with your eyes closed. So just feel that it's okay to release that tension. Eyelids feeling heavier and heavier. Really releasing that tension, and then see that tension leaving your body in your outward breath. On that next inward breath in, that bright healing white light, really pay attention to your jaw. The jaw is up there with the neck and the shoulders as a clue of excess stress and tension. So as you breathe in that healing white light, feel that your heart is taking that healing properties and distributing it through your blood all the way into your jaw. And just notice if you can feel any tension in your jaw. The clues are that perhaps your lips or your teeth are touching. But as you release that tension, it feels good because you're giving permission to no longer hold on to stress trapped there in your jaw. Feel it melting away, and allow that feeling of relaxation to move beyond the jaw into your mouth. That's it. Rarely is the tongue completely relaxed. As you breathe in that healing white light, just imagine that tension in your tongue is almost like crystals of ice fused into living tissue, but this healing white light is melting that tension away. And I want you to imagine how good it would feel for your jaw, your tongue, and all the tiny muscles around your mouth to completely relax. When your unconscious mind is ready to fully release all of that tension and stress and just feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath, just let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And feel that feeling of relaxation now going into your neck and your shoulders. Because quite often, tension in one part of your body is not caused by that part of your body. A tight muscle in your calf can cause lower back pain. And tension in your neck and your shoulders can lead to tension there in your jaw and your mouth. So I want you to imagine that any tension in your neck and your shoulders, you're giving it permission to release that tension. Start imagining your head being as loose as a helium balloon on a string, just light, floating, no need for muscle tension in your neck and your shoulders. And as you release that, notice that without trying, you can breathe even deeper. And as you breathe even deeper, more of that tension is leaving your body in your outward breath. And something else is quite often noticeable. Sometimes when tension is high and stress is high, the mouth can feel drier. But notice that as you start to relax, your body starts producing more of that saliva. In the same way that if you were thinking about eating something, your body would produce more saliva in anticipation of that food that you're about to eat. So I want you to imagine as you fully release that tension in your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders, your body is starting to produce saliva as if you were to have food. And I want you to imagine food that would be healthy, but also a cool sensation in your mouth. I want you to imagine what it would be like to be eating delicious berries in thick Greek yogurt. But I want you to accept the suggestion that two things are different. These are magical healing berries. And some people would say that all berries are magical healing berries because all berries are superfoods. Berries have the highest density of nutrients per calorie than any food that exists. Those powerful antioxidants have the ability to slow down the aging process. And those rare compounds activate enzymes that start to heal. And I want you to imagine there's a big bowl of healing berries that as you eat them, smothered in that thick Greek yogurt, it's healing not just your mouth, but all of the muscles and tendons connected to your mouth. It has that cool sensation as you can feel the temperature of the yogurt on the roof of your mouth, around your tongue. And this is healing yogurt. I want you to imagine this yogurt is anti-inflammatory, has a cooling sensation. And as you imagine just eating that yogurt and magical berries, you get a sense that tension around your whole face is just melting away. That you're becoming deeper relaxed. And I want you to imagine that there's an additional property of this magical healing berries. I want you to imagine they're slightly psychoactive, activating a powerful part of your imagination. And I want you to imagine that just in your imagination you are out on a golf course. Not any golf course. I want you to imagine you're on a golf course on a healing planet. The reason it's a healing planet is because the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere is significantly higher than it would be on Earth. And the sun is a different star. And I want you to imagine that the sun that gets to Earth gives you vitamin D. But I want you to imagine on this healing planet, on this perfect golf course, the oxygen levels are higher, and there is a vitamin that we don't even know that exists, that your body needs here on this magical healing planet, that accelerates your body's ability to heal, but also is like a secret code to your subconscious mind for your mind to know the difference between things that require healing and those parts that have already healed. Maybe once or twice you've seen a TV show where they have those faith healers, and they have people that can't walk and they bring them up on stage and they tell them that their pain is gone and that they can walk. And sometimes that works, not because the pain was there, but because the person that hasn't been walking maybe for years has acted as if that pain was real. But in fact, that was old pain. And what they were facing was the echo of that pain. Sometimes you got scared because you saw a shadow. But once you saw where that shadow came from, the anxiety went away. And sometimes pain can feel like it's real, even if it's just an echo of the past. But I want you to imagine you're out on this golf course, on this healing planet, breathing in that healing air, feeling the healing sun on your skin, immersed in this wonderful game. And just imagine you're playing the best golf of your life. And I want you to get lost in your imagination while you're playing that game on that golf course. Just in your imagination. As I start to communicate with a different part of your mind, a part of your mind that has been trying to do something positive, something that was intending to help in some way. Pain always has a positive intention. Sometimes it's to give time for the body to heal. Sometimes it's to act as a signpost to get help or to make a change. But the body's normally pretty good at evaluating when it's served its purpose, and then the pain is no longer needed. And I think there's a part of your unconscious mind that is ready to let go of this pain, ready to let go of this sensation. I think this part of your unconscious mind knows that this pain at one point in time had a purpose. But what if that pain has already meant a change in lifestyle, more balance, more appreciation of diet and nutrition, and creating habits of more hydration? And what if the final piece of the puzzle was just to reduce the amount of stress and tension in the body? I'm wondering if the pain was designed to create a change. If the change was sufficient, would that part responsible for that pain be willing to release that pain and let go of that pain? And if so, just let me know by nodding your head. Because so many things in life are only necessary for a particular time or reason. There's things that you've bought which are only needed if certain conditions are met. You don't take an umbrella out on the golf course on a sunny day. And you don't fill the tank of petrol in your car if it's already full. So I'm wondering, whatever this need is, if we could either meet that need or accept that that need has already been met, would you be willing day by day to release that pain and that sensation? Because there might be an element of hesitation. There's one thing being ready to let go of the pain, but there could be a fear. What if the reason for the pain is then necessary again in the future? So if there's a feeling that this pain is doing something positive and beneficial, let me know by nodding your head. And if that beneficial thing is now being done or in the process of being done, also let me know by nodding your head. And do you have sufficient evidence that the benefit or the positive intention of this pain has been met sufficiently so that the pain is no longer required? Because I want you to imagine a plaster. A plaster is useful at the point where the body is bleeding, but it reaches a point where the blood around the cut starts to clot. A barrier is formed, and that even if the plaster is removed, the body will not bleed. And I'm confident that whatever the purpose was of this sensation was like a plaster. It was designed to help. But if you've evaluated that the help is no longer needed and the metaphorical plaster can be removed without any negative side effects, just let me know by nodding your head. And I'm wondering if part of the positive intention of this sensation was to create more balance, to make healthy choices, to have a better relationship with the mind and the body. And if these were just some or a few of those positive intentions behind this sensation, let me know by nodding your head. And if you feel that making better choices with food is a positive step that perhaps wouldn't have happened without this sensation, let me know by nodding your head. If you feel like getting out in nature, exercising, breathing fresh air and being active also wouldn't have happened without this sensation to the extent that it does, let me know by nodding your head. Even running on a treadmill while watching a TV show is being more active, increasing that mind-body connection, the increase in water and hydration. But I think there is a missing piece, and that is to further decrease the levels of stress and tension in the body. And if you're confident that by further reducing the amount of stress and having even more balance, to be mindful for the pleasurable things rather than the painful things, then that would mean that the pain has fully served its purpose and is no longer needed. And if you also agree, let me know by nodding your head. And if you're willing to let go of that pain, to let go of those sensations, because you feel that as a warning sign, as a rallying call to take the life in a different trajectory has now served its purpose and can be fully, completely released. Because you remember what life was like before this sensation was there. And what if the reason for this sensation was to have a better balance in life? And perhaps it's done that, but now the cause of the stress is not life, but the cause of the stress is now the sensation. If you can evaluate that not only has this pain and sensation served its function, but now is hindering the very objective that it set out to achieve, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to place your hand just close to your jaw and around your mouth. That's it. And I want you to feel there is a connection between your mind and your subconscious mind and your body. And I want you to hold it there. And at the point where the part responsible for this pain is now fully willing to let go of that pain, slowly and incrementally, allow your hand to move back down to its previous position, proportionate to your body's willingness to let go of that pain. That's it. And I want you to feel a cooling, healing sensation all around your mouth, to release even more tension around the jaw and the neck and the shoulders. And there on that beautiful golf course, on that healing planet, I want you to imagine that you're daydreaming of what your future now looks like. I want you to imagine what the next few days and weeks will be like. I want you to see yourself with a pain-free, sensation-free future. That's it. Just imagine yourself there. See yourself not having to think about things the way you used to. See yourself sleeping better. I want you to see yourself less stress, less anxiety, more balance, more freedom. But also notice that how much less stress you looked without this sensation. You can still exercise, but you're doing exercise because you want to. You can see yourself on the golf course, not because you're trying to distract yourself, because you just enjoy golf. See yourself engaging in the very activities that you would do more of, simply because you no longer have this pain and sensation. See yourself as someone that utilized this pain to create positive life changes that improve the quality of your life because you had that pain. You're grateful for the pain, but you're also grateful that it's not there anymore. It served its function and you can move on. You are sleeping better, eating better, Still drinking, but not to soothe your mouth, but just because your body likes to be hydrated. And that you like this wonderful sensation of feeling healthy, eating more foods that are anti-inflammatory, perhaps even introducing additional anti-inflammatory things like turmeric and ginger, berries, high nutrient foods, lots of water. I want you to see a future where you're healthier and happier than ever before. And part of that was because of this new relationship between your mind and body that came from a period in your life of evaluating those changes that perhaps came from that pain and that sensation. I want you to thank that part for what it was trying to do for you, but communicate with that part that it's not necessary anymore, that you've learned from the message it was trying to give you, and you accept that message. And in doing so, the pain is no longer needed. And if the future you and the part responsible for that pain agree that it has served its purpose and is no longer necessary, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine you're out on that golf course, breathing in that high oxygen air, feeling the vitamins coming from the warmth of that sun on that planet. And just feel that the sensation in your mouth is completely normal. Everything is back to normal. If it feels good that things feel back to normal because they are back to normal, let me know by nodding your head. And then take that sensation and imagine that creates a chain reaction all the way out into your future. That's just how things will be from now on. And then return back to the present, fully immersed in the body where you are right now. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. All parts returning to the present. As I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, with a more harmonious relationship between your mind and your body, starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.